Okay, I needed to do a quick follow-up on the live stream that was on Tuesday, January 9th. We ran into a little bit of a problem with not being able to get the laptop to go through the capture card. That problem has been solved. As I suspected, it was something with the capture card. And apparently, when I had done a firmware update to the card, I don't know, somewhere between 8 to 12 months ago, what I didn't realize is that it set it back to factory defaults. And one of the factory defaults on the capture card is it enables HDCP. Go look it up, Google it, which is some sort of a copy protection, something or other. But in any case, it re-enabled that. I had turned that off when I first got the card because, as I now remember, I had the same problem before, where I would plug a PC into the capture card and was having some issues and couldn't figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so what we're going to do here real quick, I am going to go over to the bench here real quick. And I've got my HDMI cable, as you can see. And we're going to plug that little bad boy in. And lo and behold, it's there and it stays there. It was, if you remember correctly, it would be there momentarily and then it would go away. So that problem's been solved. So now I can actually show you things on the laptop. And one of the other things I wanted to discuss real quick was that I also had an issue with it with 22H2. That's what it was on. It was on 22H2, and I wanted to put it back on 23H. I want to put it on 23H2, and I'm going to explain this here in a second. Let me get this out of the way because I don't need that anymore. Apparently, it did not offer 23H2 through Windows Update. I tried it several times, and it refused to acknowledge that that was actually an update that was even available. So I went through the process of creating a Windows 11 thumb drive, and I've done this in the past with other Windows versions. Basically, stick the thumb drive in, run the setup program. It'll go through, and it'll do the update. Well, that didn't work this time. And it went all the way through the process, and on reboot it says something went wrong and had to undo all the changes. So that was interesting. I then tried it through the online update assistant, which does it basically over the internet. It downloads the image and it attempts to put 23H2 onto the machine. That also failed. So now I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on here. And at least my brain apparently fired a neuron somewhere, something that it rarely does, unfortunately. And I got the idea, well, oh, wait a minute. I've seen something similar like this before. Sure enough, I go into the machine. I disable Malwarebytes, which is on the machine. I disabled Malwarebytes, put the thumb drive back in, stuck that in, run the setup program, left it overnight, and when I came back down into the man cave / studio, lo and behold, 23H2 was magically installed. So lesson learned. If you're trying to do this and for some reason it seems to keep constantly screwing up, make sure that your antivirus or any malware or whatever is disabled. So that's just something you probably want to look into. And there's one more thing that I want to talk about real quick. And that is that now I wasn't aware of this, and it does kind of bother me that I wasn't paying attention. But if you get a new machine with Windows 11 Home, you want to check the drive. So you want to go into Disk Management, and you want to look at the drive. And here, if you see the word encryption, you have BitLocker turned on even though you're running Home. And I found that out, that this apparently defaults to having encryption turned on. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to go into BitLocker and device encryption settings here, actually. And if it's already encrypted, there'll be an option to turn it off in here. And once you turn that off, it'll have to decrypt the drive. It might take a little while, but it will get it done. And then when you look at the drive again, the next time you look at the drive, it looks like quote unquote normal. But the size is NTFS, etc., etc. The word encryption doesn't appear anymore. So just be aware of that too. Okay. So basically, in conclusion, fixed the HDMI thing. I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the port. It plugged into a TV without any issue. It plugged into an external monitor without any issue. It was obviously something to do with the capture card, and that turned out to be HDCP had been re-enabled when they did the firmware update on the capture card. Okay, so that's that. Make sure that antivirus, any malware stuff is disabled if you're having a real hard time making a major feature update to Windows 11. That's interesting. And even though you're running home, and I mean, I don't remember, I know Windows 10 doesn't have encryption. I must have missed the part where they decided to turn it on for Windows 11 home. So just be aware of those things. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully I'll see you down the line. Appreciate you guys showing up, and you all have a good day.